And welcome back here, Facebook, YouTube Live. That didn't take very long. We've got another tornado warning here. Tornado warning to take a look at here. That does include the storms that we've just been talking about here. So just in the Willow Valley area. So let me zoom out real quick to get our bearings straight. So we are east of Vincennes and Washington, north of Jasper and Paoli, to the south of Bloomington, west of Seymour. We've got a brand new tornado warning. Let's take a look at this here, along with some golf ball size hail. Tornado warning for East Central Martin County, East Central Martin County, Southwestern Lawrence County until 7:15. So just a few minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Shoals, or 16 miles southwest of Bedford, moving east at 25 miles per hour. So we've got some very large hail with this, but you can start to see here, you see this hook echo. We talk about that quite often. So we're seeing just on the radar itself, rotation. And we've been talking about broad rotation with this storm. So we're just to the north and east of Shoals here. So if you're in the Willow Valley area, riding along US 50 to the Huron area, to the Moorestown area, you're under a tornado warning. You need to be taking cover right now. Take cover right now with this storm here. And so we are, as we do this here, I'm updating. There we go. With that, so let's take a look at the velocity with this here. And so we see the rotation. It still looks very broad on the radar here with this. So it's just to the north of Willow Valley, just to the north of Willow Valley, to the west of Huron here. So right along north and east of Shoals along US 50 here. And so this storm is moving to the east, northeast. Let's put it in motion. You can see the broad rotation that it's had up to this point. And so this is the rotation here that went through Lagodi and then to the north of Shoals. And this is where we're at right this second here. And so here's our area of rotation that we're concerned about, just to the north here of US 50, west of Mitchell. Mitchell, you are included in this tornado warning. So be paying attention here as this slow moving storm moving 20, 25 miles per hour is heading towards you with that there. And so it's heading towards State Road 37 here. And so the southern part of Bedford, you're also involved here in this tornado warning. And then just to the west here, we still have rotation. See rotation here. We've got an updated polygon here from the National Weather Service to the north and west of Lagodi. So this is why we've got the second tornado warning here that we just got done talking about in our last live stream here. And so that tornado warning does continue with that. And so here's an updated scan. And so the good news is for the tornado warning here heading towards Bramville and Ragglesville, it looks like it's kind of dying out a little bit. So that's good news there. To the storm here north and east of Shoals, we still have some broad rotation, some very broad rotation here with this storm here. So over the Huron area, headed towards the Moorestown area along US 50 towards State Road 37. You need to be taking shelter right now because of this tornado warning here. And when we go back and take a look at the radar itself, we're kind of seeing that classic hook echo. All right, that classic hook echo with this storm here. So it's like that backwards comma here. And this is showing us a rotation with the inflow here. And we see this hook being formed with this storm. So it's kind of starting to get that classic hook here of where the rotation is. And then just to the north of it would be where the heavy rainfall, including the large hail here, ping pong, golf ball size hail we've been seeing with these two storms. That's where that's located here. So the State Road 450 area and just south here towards Huron and Willow Valley, that's where we're seeing the large hail, the gusty winds, and the extremely heavy downpours with this storm. And so we'll monitor these two storms right here. With that, no other storms in Indiana right now, no other storms in Indiana that we're monitoring with this, but we're expecting storms to develop over the next few hours here. And you can start to see some storms developing just to the south of that in southern Indiana. So if you're in the Princeton area, just to the south and west of Princeton, east of Princeton, north and west of Jasper, you see those dots there, the circles. We're seeing some storms starting to develop, and including over just north of Louisville along I-65 here, a storm looks like it's getting ready to develop there. And then we've got multiple storms back here in Illinois. And what happens here is as they attach to this warm front, this red line here is that warm front. As they attach to this warm front here, it's likely to see rotation with these storms, and they what we call ride the front. They're going to ride on that warm front right there, which is a prime atmosphere for these supercells to rotate. And so we're continuing to watch these storms here. I got 2 tornado warnings right now in southern Indiana. So in the Washington, Paoli, Bloomington triangle there, right inside that. So as this as this warm front moves to the north here very slowly, all right, these storms are also going to slide right along it with that as well. And so we're monitoring additional development here with these storms. And so we're watching southern Indiana here. So the yellow here, that's tornado watch. All right, it's lasting until 11 o'clock tonight. So if you're inside any of these counties that are outlined in yellow, Terre Haute, Bloomington, Seymour, Washington, Vincennes, you're a part of this tornado watch, okay, with this. And so the warm front's going to continue moving to the north here. Temperatures right now in the Evansville area, all right, they're getting close to the upper 80s here. The last check I had here was 85 degrees in Evansville with that here. And we're looking at the 70s here just to the north of this warm front. And this front's going to continue to move northward throughout the night here. And so if you're in northern Indiana, you're like, what is going on down there? What are you talking about? And it's a little bit different than if you're right now in southern Indiana and you step outside and it feels like summertime. All right, it's not just warm, but it's hot outside with this. And this warm front has already passed through your area here, and you can really feel it. So that's all here just south of this warm front, and it's going to continue to move northward here. So we do have 2 tornado warnings right now. With that, I'm going to move to a different radar and see if we've got a different version of what we're looking at here. All right, so the Bramble storm right now. So this storm right now, let's see if we've got any kind of an update here. So still 10 minutes ago with this update. So thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado here now that's going to go over the Bramble area to the south of Burns City. But this storm is getting into Burns City right now. So we'll see what the National Weather Service out of Indianapolis does with this tornado warning here with that. And let's take a look at the velocity real quick on this one. Not seeing much here with this radar. And let's go back to the Indianapolis radar and see. All right, so just some very, very broad rotation here with this storm. Now, just to the east of that, let's see if we've got an update on this storm right here. So it's still 10 minutes old on this one. So again, a storm capable of producing a tornado. So this is radar indicated. It's capable of producing a tornado with this. But as we come in here, you see comparing the 2 tornado warnings here, and it's hard to see the red over red. I understand that. But you see the reds and greens here? All right, this is where a broad rotation is, just in the Huron area, just to the west, northwest of the Moorestown area, west of Mitchell, southwest of Terry Park. So it's going along US 50 here, moving to the east. And so getting closer here to State Road 37. If you know anybody in this area, give them a call, let them know, hey, we're live right now. We're following this. We're watching this for you. And we'll walk through this together. Okay, so if you're inside of Huron right now, Moorestown, you need to be taking shelter right now. If you're in the Willows Valley area, the Shoals area, you're in the clear now from this storm. But you can see with the 2 tornado warnings that we've got here, the Huron rotation right now. You see the reds and greens coming together, some definite rotations there. If you're coming back here to the Bramble area, we're not seeing that as much. We're not seeing even greens on the radar. So greens mean the wind is blowing towards the radar. Red means the wind is blowing away from the radar. So think of like the car, the lights in the rear of the car are red, the brake light red. So the car is moving away from, if you're from behind the car, seeing the red, that car, if it's going forward, like most do, car is moving away from you. So think of the red there as like the brake lights that are moving away from you. And then the green, that means the wind is blowing towards you. So when you see the reds and greens come together, like you're seeing here to the north and east of Huron now, we see the reds and greens coming together. Excuse me. Let's do that one again. We see the reds and greens coming together here, like you see in this area right there. All right, that's showing us winds are rotating. All right, so they're close together there. And when they're that close together, if some of that wind's blowing towards you and some of that wind's blowing away from you, all right, that's what's shows us that rotation there. And the brighter the colors means, likely the heavier the wind gusts are in that area with that. And so that's our little weather talk there. So going back to the radar with these storms here. So we've got 2 tornado warnings here in southern Indiana. So if you're in the Bedford area, most of Bedford is not in this tornado warning right now. However, this storm looks like it's moving a little bit more north and east. So likely you're going to get the rain and you're going to get the hail with this storm here. All right, so you are part of this tornado watch. But this hail that we're seeing here inside this storm right here, all right, it's showing 1.75 inches in diameter, or in other words, golf ball size hail with this. So if you're in Bedford, if you got your car outside, get it into the garage. If you got a garage, let's get that thing protected. Anything else outside that you can protect, let's do that. Because of the storm is heading your direction. So you might not see a tornado, but it looks like you're going to see some gusty winds and some large hail and some very heavy downfalls with this here. And so, thank you. With that, I was reading the chat there with that. And so, yes, so this storm right here, where the actual rotation is at, just to the north of Morristown, all right, riding along here, US 50, getting close to State Road 37. All right, Bedford, you're about ready to get into this, probably the hail core of this storm here. And so I'm going to continue to go back and forth on the radar here. Okay, so the tornado warning here to the west has been canceled. The tornado warning here to the west has been canceled with that. So that's good news. And so now we're going to follow this storm right here that's headed towards Bedford, the one here that's headed towards Bedford. Let's continue to follow this here, and we'll see here what I'm checking to look at some new information here with this. So there's some strong storms going on. Okay, so yeah, there it is. The Daviess County and Martin County tornado warning has been canceled by the National Weather Service. So we're just taking a look at Daviess County, Martin County. You're in the clear from that tornado warning here with that. And so that's good news there. And so we're seeing that rotation fall off of that storm right there. But the storm here north of and north and west of Morristown here, so we're potential tornado here. So definite rotation. We're seeing that on radar. All right, we saw that hook there. We've got reports of a wall cloud. Okay, so you can see the wall cloud there and the spinning and so forth with that, and it's right along Highway 50 there. All right, in the Morristown area. All right, this storm itself is heading towards the Bedford area, which is probably likely to see some of the hail core here. All right, as this storm moves to the north and east. And then the actual rotation just north of Morristown right now looks like it's probably going to go north of Mitchell, all right, and the Yawkey, the Terry Park area with that. And so these are the two storms that we're monitoring, but we're also monitoring storms starting to develop just south of this warm front here as we've been looking at. So that's likely to happen with this. So if you're in the Morristown area, the Terry Park area, the Yawkey area, you need to be taking shelter right now. You're under a tornado warning. You're under a tornado warning right now. So let's turn on the velocity here. And we're still seeing these reds and greens coming together here with us along US 50, just to the north of Morristown, heading towards State Road 37. So that's the Terry Park, the Yawkey area, north of Mitchell, probably south of Bedford for the actual rotation piece. But the hail core that you're going to see there, that's a different story. That's a totally different story with that. And so I'm just going to take a look at a few things here as we do this. And see here. Okay, so this was the hail core a few minutes ago to the north of Huron with that. And so quite a bit of information here. So tornado warning continues for 14 more minutes. Continues for 14 more minutes here with that. Okay. Yep. Just taking a look at some more information here. So here's what we're taking a look at. Let me get that off the screen here. I'm going to go big picture for a second here. So we are south of Indianapolis, south of Bloomington, north of Paoli, northeast of Jasper, east of Vincennes. All right, this is where our tornado warning is right now. This is where our tornado warning is, as it's right along the front here with this storm. So just to the north of Morristown and north and west of Mitchell, Terry Park, Yawkey, you're in the path of this rotation. You're under a tornado warning right now. You need to be taking shelter. You need to be taking shelter right now if you're in this area with that. So let's take a look at the velocity here. And I'm going to kind of switch back and forth on the two radars. So it's in between two radars here. And so you can still see a little bit of rotation here, reds and greens coming together. It doesn't look as defined as it was a little bit ago. I'm going to put this into motion, and you can see it was more defined there towards Shoals and then towards Huron. And so it might be weakening a little bit, hopefully, but you never know. It could also be recycling, and then it comes back stronger than what it just was. So conditions are there tonight for these storms to rotate. This is our second tornado warning of the night. With that, well, the extension would be technically the third, but two storms here in both of these supercells have been tornado warned with that. And so I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth on the radars here with this. And so you see the actual hail core of this storm just to the north of the rotation. It's moving towards the Bedford area, and the rotation itself, if you're in the Terry Park, Yawkey area, just north of Mitchell, you need to be paying attention here. You're not only under a tornado warning, but this rotation is heading your direction with this. And so the good news, Burn City, yeah, you're seeing a storm right now, but you're not seeing the storm like it once was with 60-mile-per-hour winds, extremely large hail with the storm, and rotation. So that's a good thing you're not seeing that anymore. So that's the energy has kind of been sucked out of that one. But the Morristown, Mitchell, Bedford type storm here that you're seeing on the radar, that continues to be a big storm here. It continues to rotate, and we'll continue to follow it here with that. So still definite rotation with the storm along US 50 headed towards State Road 37. And there you see an update as we just circled that. And so here's our more recent update here. Again, getting closer here to the Terry Park, Yawkey area. And then the hail core is getting closer to the Bedford area. So if you're in Bedford right now, very southern part of Bedford is in this tornado warning. And then, but Bedford, it looks like you're going to be getting this hail and gusty winds and heavy downpours. And the Terry Park, Yawkey areas, likely the rotation. And so continue to monitor this storm here. I'm going to switch back to the reflectivity here, and I'm going to search here to see if we've gotten any new information with what's going on with these storms here. And so just, yeah, definitely saw some pictures here of some wall clouds with that, but definite rotation here, definite rotation, Terry Park, Yawkey, and then back towards the Morristown area. Need to be taking shelter right now. Need to be taking shelter right now with this here because we've got some large hail, golf ball size hail with this storm heading towards that Bedford area, and then definite rotation here with this as well. So looking here to see if we've gotten any new information with this storm here. So the tornado warning does continue. Tornado warning does continue. The rotation is just to the northeast of the Morristown area with that here. But I'm not seeing anything new here. Not seeing any reports of any actual tornado hitting the ground. Not even seeing reports of any funnel clouds with this. It's just radar indicated right now with this. And yeah, let's see here. So we've seen reports of $50 size hail in the Lagodi area. half dollar size hail again in the Lagodi area. And yeah, some very large hail with these storms here. And so that's what I was looking at a few moments ago on that. So yeah, we'll continue to watch here. So if your county is outlined in yellow, you're under tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight. And what you see here, this red line, this represents a warm front. And this warm front is slowly moving to the north, here. And so as these storms start to develop here and move to the north and east here, what's likely to happen is they attach to this warm front here where the conditions become favorable for it to rotate. And so that's why we're seeing the tornado warnings along this front here. And you see some other storms just to our west here starting to develop as well. Okay, and if it attaches to this front, that's something we got to pay close attention to. So we're expecting to see storms kind of fill in this area over the next couple of hours here and last throughout the evening hours into nighttime. And as the storms and the warm front lifts here to the north, that's going to get all the way through Indiana by morning time. And we're expecting to see off and on storms throughout the day tomorrow as well. And then again on Friday, seeing some storms here. So the good news is just one tornado warning out of all the storms here. But we'll see how these develop. I'm going to get closer radar here. We'll see how these develop. There have been some tornado warnings in Illinois over the last couple of hours. One tornado warning left here in Indiana for 8 more minutes with this here. And let's see here. So a few minutes ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 10 miles southwest of Bedford, moving east at 20 miles per hour. So possible tornado here and golf ball size hail. So some very strong hail here that's getting into the Bedford area. And so we're seeing this kind of this hook echo right there with this. So this is where the rotation is located in this area right there. And it's headed towards the east northeast. So Terry Park, Yaqui, there along State Road 37. You're part of in this path here of where this rotation is heading. And then just to the north of it here, we've got the hail core. So this is where that golf ball size hail is. All right. And as this moves to the east northeast, Terry Park to Bedford, likely that you're going to see some large hail as the storm moves through here. So we'll continue to monitor this here, and we'll get back on Facebook and YouTube as we get some updates here on exactly what's going on with this. So 7 more minutes for this tornado warning. We're still seeing that hook echo here. And let's go to the velocity. And yep, we're still seeing rotation. We're still seeing rotation on radar. Here moving towards the Terry Park and Yaqui area. Well, I'll jump back on here as we get some new information. Odds are they're going to extend this tornado warning a little bit. And once they do that, we'll jump back in here to give you the update and walk you through this. So if you're in the Morristown area, Huron area, you're in the all clear from this storm, you can get out of your shelter and go on your evening as normal here, but pay attention for possible additional storms heading your direction as it develops tonight. But the Terry Park area, the Yaqui area, Bedford area, Mitchell area, stay alert here. Stay alert as the storm gets closer. So we'll jump back in here in a few minutes as we get an update from the National Weather Service.